Oh, well, I really wanted to bow hunt deer. I had shot for the Marine Corps for 2.5 years, big bore rifle and pistol, and I got out and went to school, got back, into the hunting world, and I just didn't want to shoot a deer with a gun, so I started bow hunting. And when I did, I found out real quick that there was 4 things that I needed. First of all, I needed to get into a tree. It took me a couple of years to do that, because the first year or two I hunted, all I saw was whitetail flags, But when I got in a tree, I found out I had to be comfortable, I had to be secure and stable, I had to be camouflaged, and I had to be quiet. Mm-hmm. And so that's what got me into building and designing tree stands long before Summit. It was a selfish motive, to be honest with you. I was selfish. I wanted to be able to kill a deer, and I knew the only way to do that in a tree stand was to have those 4 things. And so every year, I guess for probably 10 or 12 years, it was longer than that, because I started in 1960. I knew that I had to do those things, and so I figured I'd do them. I started this thing out as a part-time venture. Like I said, in 81 when I started, I had already for 10 years had the product that I was introducing in 81 critiqued by all my hunting buddies, and it was pretty well wrung out, in 1981. But what it would look like was basically a welded tree stand, all steel, had a folding seat, and it was pretty unique to what was on the market then. It's secure and stable. So when you get up there in a Summit Treestand, you don't have to worry. You're not deflecting. You lean over on the corner. You don't feel this thing kind of spongy or rubbery. So it's stable and secure, which makes you relax. It's comfortable. We were in 81. We were the first ones to have a foam padded seat. We still have that, and we've added foam padded armrests. Which incidentally, we were first with that, but this is not something we could patent, even though we got, 12 or 13 patents. But it was comfortable, and it was camouflage. We had, of course y'all don't remember this, but in the old days, everything was a plywood platform, a solid plywood platform, and which cast a shadow on the ground. And the first Summit had a see-through design, so it's camouflaged not only with the colors and the paint, but by design. And the other thing is it's quiet. It's all welded, and having bolts and screws and nuts and rivets and so forth, sooner or later they're gonna get loose, and they're gonna right at the time there's a deer out there. So being quiet and stable and comfortable and camouflaged, that's the reason I think that people they were like me. They finally realized this is what I've got to have, and we had the best game in town. The safety. We've obviously we've been in litigation. There's people that fall, and the primary reason that we have falls nowadays is because they do not use their harness. But our stand, like I told you, it's very stable and secure, so it's safe. And if they wear a harness, it's just, you're not going to get hurt. And safety has been paramount. In fact, the first time we built aluminum stands, my boys were on me. I had brought my 3 sons and my son-in-law. But my son-in-law, David South, he's now the general manager of Summit. But when I brought them in, they started saying, "Well, we need an aluminum tree stand." And I said, "No way." I did not want to put somebody 15, 16, 18 feet up in a tree stand in welded aluminum, because I knew firsthand from my experience over at NASA that aluminum welds are very, very difficult to make. And they kept saying, well, the competition's doing it. I said, fine, I really don't care. And they said, well, what's it going to take to do that? And I said, well, if we can figure out a way to interlock the pieces. In fact, I've got one over there. If we can figure out a way to lock the pieces like we did, I said, then we can do it. And that's what my second son, Ron, he's a mechanical engineer like I am. And between all of us, we figured out a way how to lock all these pieces together. And then the welds are just there to kind of hold them together. I mean, I'm being kind of funny with this, but the stresses in the welds on a Summit Treestand are very minimal. We don't have things, pulling apart like this or pushing together. It's all locked together. And so the safety aspect is really what makes me most proud of it. The Viper.
Why is that?
No question. Well, a climbing tree stand, even at my age, a climbing tree stand, it gives me the mobility I need. I can go anywhere. I can get out of my truck, put that tree stand on, and then if I've already scouted and found sign, that's fine. But if I find new sign, I don't have to worry, well, I don't have a tree stand here or a ladder here. I got my stand on my back, and all I got to do is find a suitable tree, the right diameter, and up I go, and it's brand new. And the deer are not going to know, like with a hang on or a ladder, all of a sudden they become accustomed to that thing. They've either heard noises, or they've smelled somebody in that stand, or they've been shot at out of that stand. And so when they come close to that stand, they're going to start looking around. With a climber like I use, I'm in a brand new spot, and I've got the advantage on it. That's why I like a climber. And the Viper, of course, even in my size, it's fine. I want the smallest possible stand I can use from a standpoint of camouflage.
Mm-hmm.
I think people have lost the real advantage of climbing tree stands. I mean, the best thing I like about a climbing stand is the safety. When I go in a climbing stand, I have my harness, I have my tether or a rope around a tree with connected to my harness. So while I'm climbing, I'm hooked up. If I slip or fall or do anything crazy, I'm hooked up to that harness. With a ladder, that doesn't happen. With a hang-on, that doesn't happen. And invariably, they wait until they're all the way up there before they hook up. And this is when most people fall, is getting into or out of either a ladder or a hang-on. With a climber, I don't worry about it because I'm hooked up from the time I leave the ground until I'm up there. And the older population is more than likely the ones that need it. They've been hunting a long time and they got this macho atmosphere, whereas they're the ones that need a harness as much as anybody. We have to keep advertising. We need to show it in the magazines. We need to show it on the TV shows. We've got some I call them PSAs, some of those coming out. And it's just a constant reminder. In our state, we're finally going to get some additional advertising with using billboards. So hunters in the fall, they're driving down the road or the interstate going to hunt, and there might be a billboard there that reminds them to use their harness, not wear it, but use it. Because a lot of people wear them and then they don't hook up till they're up there. They need to use them from the ground all the way to the tree stand.